LakelandCarKeys.com. We're currently sitting in a 2015 Chevy Malibu. Proximity smart key. Their old key, all the buttons were worn, so we're going to make them a new key. They had to put the key down in the programming slot in order to start the car. So we're going to go ahead and put our new key down in the programming slot with the back up against the back wall. Alright, and we're using our Autel KM100. So I'm going to go in and add a smart key. I'm going to go ahead and start. We already previously read the pin, so I'm going to skip over the pin reading and the DDC erasure. Alright, nope. Alright, and we're going to start the key learning. Alright, so that's just to press the stop button once and then hit OK. Alright, it's telling us to put the key in the slot. It's in there. We already have our code. We're going to go ahead and hit OK. Hit yes. Alright, it tells us turn the ignition switch off. It was already off. Checking the network. And we're going to continue to start the key program. And then now we have to go through the 12-minute wait. So once we get up into that 80% mark of the 12-minute wait, it will go into programming mode, and then it'll show us on the dash how many keys are in the system. And then once we program the key, you will see the number move. So I believe this one has 4, and then it'll go up to 5. So we got to do the 12-minute wait, and I'll cut back in once this is done. Alright, so we're here. We're getting down close to the end. Right now we're at 75%. And like I said, once we get in between that 83 and 85%, we should hear something click, and then the dash will show that the key is in programming mode. And we can go ahead and start to add our key in. You know, this is why I don't like these GMs that have the 12. Well, they all have the 12-minute wait, but you know, if something does fail, you're stuck doing that 12-minute wait, and you know, sometimes you could do it 3 or 4 times. All right, so we're at 81%, 82. All right, something just went silent. Alright, it's going into performing key learning. Alright, there we go, got the click. It says it's ready for remote 4. Alright, it's telling us to press the stop button once. I'm going to do that. Hit OK. Configuring. And see, now it says it's ready for remote 5. So basically, we was in programming mode. We programmed the key and it moved on to the next number. So it should have successfully taken that key in. Now on these cars, all right, let's ask them, do we want to move on to the next key? We're going to say no. And it's telling us to switch the ignition off. All right. So 2 things about these cars. It wants us to hold the stop button for 12 seconds. So as we're holding it, it's going to go through a countdown, and we're not going to release it until it hits 100% and tells us to release it. Alright, it's telling us to release the button. We're going to hit OK and configure it. So with these cars, alright, please long press the stop button until the dashboard illuminates. so there we go. That's what we want. All right, now it's performing the key learning. So it's just, that part's a little unclear. It's asking us to switch off the ignition. Sometimes we hit the button and we see stuff come on the display center and we think, that's what it's looking for. And then it'll go through a long countdown and in the end it'll say it failed. That's because the ignition wasn't actually turned all the way on. But usually when you get that failure, the key does still work. All right, so now it's telling us to press the brake pedal and press the stop button. All right, and the vehicle started up. And it's going into configure. So if you got to this point where the numbers change and you were in the long press to turn the ignition on, and it goes through a long wait and says it fails, more than likely the key did program. So it told us to stop the engine, open and close the door, remove the key, and press the lock and lock buttons at the same time. Alright, I did that. I heard the door locks go. Is there another key to be synchronized? We're going to go ahead and hit no. Alright. And then we should be done. So we're going to go ahead, lock, unlock, and proximity. And there we go. So proximity works. The buttons work. So on these cars, you got to be careful. There are two different remote frequencies. It could be a 315. It could be a 433. Prior to recording this video, I did program a key that was 315. I'm able to start up the car with the key in the slot, but I did not have no remote functions. So I did have, the original remote, but the buttons didn't work, so I couldn't test the frequency on it. And when I go into the Autel, usually it'll tell me the frequency, and it had them both listed. I was able to finagle their old key enough that I got one of the buttons to send the signal, and I was able to confirm it was a 433 megahertz key. So I grabbed the 433 megahertz version of this, and again, I had to do the 12-minute wait again. But I'm glad I was able to, get that failure on video, or at least be able to explain that failure so that, it's something that you can look out for before you go ahead and, waste time and potentially waste the key. These keys lock to the vehicle. So once they're programmed to the vehicle, they're locked to the vehicle. Can they be unlocked? Yes. The process of, what you got to go through to unlock them, it really ain't worth it. I'll probably just give them that key as a spare. They can always put it in the slot and start it up. But this was, a successful key program. Proximity works, and, the lock and unlock works, and they are good to go. All right, LakelandCarKeys.com.